Hello and welcome back to the Peak District National Park. So today we are heading to the Roaches, which is an extremely popular spot in the Peak District National Park, and I'm also going to be paying a visit to the very mysterious Ludds Church. It's an area that I've never filmed in before, so I'm really excited to show it you all. The Roaches is an extremely popular part of the Peak District National Park. It sits on the southwest edge of the national park, very accessible for people who live on the western side of the Peak District. And it is a beautiful spot with much to explore. So I've just parked the car at Grabbatch and I've headed down towards the river, and we're going to check out Ludds Church first today, just because it is the summer holidays and Ludds Church gets very busy in the summer holidays. It is a very popular spot. So I've come here nice and early to try and beat the crowds. And then from there, I'm going to head up to the Roaches, which is a gritstone ridge, which hosts some stunning views. It is a superb part of the peaks, great little sunset spot. However, we're not going to be there for sunset today. And then once I've got to the end of the Roaches, we could head on to Hen Cloud, but I'm probably not going to do that today. And I'll head back on myself and head back to Grabbatch where I parked the car. I'm going to be taking it very slow today, very easy. You might be able to tell from my voice, I'm full of a cold, just coming out the back end of it now, and it has been a brutal one to say the least. So this is the first time I've actually been out in the Peak District for about 2 weeks, which is the last thing you want in the middle of summer, especially with the weather we've had. Super excited to be out in the Peak District again, especially here. It is absolutely beautiful here. So anyway, we're going to head up through the Woodland, which is called Back Woodland, I think, and we'll be greeted with Ludds Church at the top of the hill. So that is Lud's Church, and as you'll have seen, it is a really cool spot, really mysterious, bit spooky. Even in the middle of summer, I know we had a bit of rain yesterday, but it is always wet and muddy down there. So I'd say summer is definitely the best time to visit it. Lud's Church itself was actually formed by a landslide or landslip, I think hundreds of years ago. And over the centuries, it has been used for many different things. It has been a place of worship. And it was given the name Lud's Church because one of the people who used to go there as a place of worship got captured there, something along those lines, and Lud was part of his name. So yeah, it's a really cool place, especially when you manage to get it on your own, like I did very luckily, because as I was leaving, quite a few people turned up. Yeah, there isn't a breath of wind down there, and it is always really cold down there. Even today, I think it's about 19, 20 degrees. It's a really mild, humid, kind of damp day, especially in these woodlands. As soon as you drop down there, it is like nature's air conditioning. When you enter it, you just get this kind of, not a breeze, but it just hits you suddenly, this cold air. So yeah, it's a really cool place, and I highly recommend visiting it. Like I was saying earlier, it does get very busy, especially in peak season. So basically in the summer, it can get rammed up here, especially on the Roaches, which is where I'm heading to next. And a lot of people drop down because it is a bit of a tourist attraction. So yeah, I'd get up really in the morning. That's probably the best time, or come late in the evening, but it's totally worth doing. And if you've got kids, they'll absolutely love it. A couple of families came in when I was just leaving then, and they were just mind blown. So really, really cool spot to visit. And one of the best things about it is situated right next to the Roaches, which is where we're heading to now. So you can do the Roaches and Lud's Church in the same walk. They're about a couple of miles apart from each other. So yeah, that's where we're heading now. I hope you enjoyed seeing Lud's Church. Highly recommend going, and I'll catch up with you at the Roaches. So I've made it onto the Roaches. It was a really nice walk up from Lud's Church. Nothing too steep or crazy, to be honest with you. It was just a nice gradual incline. And you'll have seen I passed the trig point about half a mile back, and I'm now sat on the actual Roaches Ridge, looking down towards Tittersworth Reservoir, which you can see down there. Fantastic view from up here. I reckon on a clear day from up here, you can see very far, probably all the way over to Wales. I can see Manchester Airport and can see the planes taking off, so I reckon on a clear day you can see very far. So my plan is to have my lunch here now. It was a bit windy and exposed back up there, so I thought I'd sit here where it's a bit more sheltered. Wind's not as strong. The sun keeps on trying to make an appearance, but at the moment it's a bit grey, but at least it's dry. As like I said, we had a lot of rain yesterday, so I'm happy that it's dry because it has given about a 10 to 20% chance of rain again. So fingers crossed we avoid that. And as you'll have probably also seen, the heather is still just in flower. It's a beautiful time to be in the Peak District to see the heather. It really does bring all the moorlands to life. As in the winter, they can be a bit brown and a bit featureless. This time of year, however, with all of the purple, especially in the dark peak, it really does look beautiful. So I highly recommend if you can. We've probably got 1 to 2 weeks left of the heather in flower. So I'd head to the Peak District if you haven't seen it yet, because it really is stunning. So the plan after lunch, carry on along the Roaches. I think we've probably got about half a mile left to walk along. Then I'm going to drop down to the left onto the road and head back over to the Woodland where Lud's church is. And then we'll take a different route back down to the river, which I crossed at the beginning. And then we'll head back up to the car. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it despite having this cold. I've been taking it very easy. But yeah, it's nice to finally get out, get some fresh air and enjoy the Peak District and enjoy this mild weather. So I've made it back to the top of the woodland where Lud's church is situated. After heading along the second section of the Roaches, and then I dropped down and headed back along the road, back to where I am now. And that second section of the Roaches is just awesome. There's some really cool rock formations. There were loads of people out bouldering and climbing, so if you're a climber, Highly recommend checking out the Roaches if you're ever in the Peak District. Loads of different spots to climb and boulder. And there's some great little scrambles, and yeah, it's just a really fun part of the walk. And you'll have also seen in the distance Hen Cloud. I decided not to go up there today because I'm feeling a bit rough with this cold still. But yeah, if you wanted to make this walk a little bit longer, you could definitely add that into the loop. Again, it's an awesome little hill to climb up. Has a little bit of a Chrome Hill, Parkhouse Hill, Dragon's Back vibe to it. So yeah, highly recommend checking out Hen Cloud if you're in the area as well. And this route is basically like a figure-of-8 route. So I joined up to the section just below the Roaches trig point. There was an ice cream van there today, and there always is in the summer. It's one of the things I say about the Peak District. If there's a place to park your car and an ice cream van, it's going to be busy. As us Brits just love an ice cream van. But to be fair, middle of the summer holidays, it actually hasn't been too busy today. There's a fair amount of people out, but I think yesterday's weather might have put off a few people. So yeah, heading into the Woodland now. I'm not going to lie, it is probably one of my favourite parts of the walk, the Woodland. It is just absolutely beautiful. Although I love the views from the Roaches, there's something about Woodland at the minute which I'm just really enjoying. Really relaxing, really peaceful. And when you look, and when we hit the river at the bottom, you'll see how beautiful it is down there. And I also have some very fond childhood memories in this Woodland. Gradbach Scout Camp is just on the other side of the river, and this was basically my local campsite. So we spent a lot of nights here as kids, and we do a lot of wide games and all sorts of fun things in the Woodland. So it's always nice to come back and reminisce. So we're back at Gradbach where we first started the walk, and the sun has come out for the final half mile back to the car, which is really nice. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Highly recommend coming to Lud's Church and the Roaches. Obviously you don't have to do them both at the same time. There are so many different places to park up and loads of different loops and distances you can do. All of them are fantastic, especially when the sun's out like this. It's definitely one of my favourite places to come walking in the peaks. However, like I've said throughout the video, it does get extremely busy. So if you wanted to avoid the crowds, say come in the week, or avoid school holidays. But to be honest with you, it's the middle of the summer holidays today and it wasn't that busy. So yeah, it's been a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of the continued support throughout the channel, all of the new subscribers, all the likes, comments. It really does mean a lot to me. And the next video should be a Lake District video. I'm heading up there quite a bit in September. I'm going to take all the camera gear with me, and hopefully we'll get some Lake District videos finally coming to the channel. So if you love the Lake District, keep an eye out for them, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.